Chapter 1. Teachers of the Dream. The more conscious you become, the more you will be able to have dreams worth having. Sri Aurobindo. The more I tell the story of my own plunge into deeper levels of consciousness, the more people I meet who have had stunningly similar experiences. The fact that you are hearing this book means that you are a dreamer and reflects that you are aware of the spiritual nature of your life's journey. Indeed, we could go so far as to say that you know you are on a mystical trek. Every authentic mystical journey resonates with every other. I share my story in the hope that it will encourage you to tell yours. Actually, I'm starting my story in the middle. The first parts of it are probably very similar to your own. I heard the call to examine my spiritual self, and I set out on a path. I didn't have the inspiration or motivation to go to exotic lands in search of a guru. Instead, I read books, attended seminars, and found a few teachers. That's where the story starts. By the mid-1980s, I was living the American dream. I had a good career in television production, a wonderful husband, a house in a great neighborhood, a perfect, in my eyes at least, 3-year-old daughter, a red Saab 4-speed convertible, and a live-in housekeeper. I had a spiritual practice that included yoga, meditation, and Native American teachings, and I was participating in various charitable drives to raise money for worthy causes. It was a good life. One day I woke up feeling a little achy. I went to work anyway because that's what one did in my line of work. There's an unwritten law that you never call in sick during film or television production. You worry either that the show must go on and it can't go on without me, or if they find out that the show can go on without me, I'll lose my job. Despite the pain, I went to work that Monday morning. By noon, I felt really ill and asked my producer to get someone to fill in for me. By the end of the week, I was worse. The primary symptoms were extreme fatigue and complete loss of mental agility. Within about 2 weeks, I could no longer retain detail, prioritize activities, or recognize many familiar sounds and faces. I had lost my mind, or at least the mind that had served me so well thus far. I had no energy. I felt that I was used up and that I no longer had the strength to stay alive. My husband and I, along with our insurance company, spent thousands of dollars looking for a cause. No one ever reached a medical diagnosis. After exhausting all the Western medical models of what might be wrong, testing for everything from a brain tumor to multiple sclerosis, I spent another small fortune on alternative healers. I did things only available in Los Angeles. I swallowed disgusting herbs until I admitted I'd rather die than go through another day with that taste in my mouth. I even let someone inject megadoses of vitamins into my arm intravenously, which nearly killed me because I discovered I was allergic to the B complex they used. I let someone else stick thousands of needles in me, acupuncture. Oh, and there was the guy who had a hot tub filled with purple water and healing microbes. I was reikied, rolfed, wrapped, massaged, crystalled, and aromatherapied. I went to an oxygen bar before it was chic. I had my aura read and used colored lights to do an aura makeover. Nothing worked. When I told my doctor, a family friend, all I'd tried and how horrible I still felt, he gave me the name of a very reputable Beverly Hills psychiatrist. That was as close as I ever came to a medical opinion of what was wrong. I don't intend to critique either the Western medical model or alternative therapies. Under appropriate circumstances, they can be beneficial and life-saving. It's just that in my case, the problem was not physiological, psychological, or auric. I had the mystic's disease. It was a spiritual unfolding, not an illness at all. Through this whole process, no one ever told me that it was a perfectly normal and natural part of the mystic's journey to have an annihilation phase. Since I'd never considered the possibility that my life was mystical, I never considered that I was being birthed into something more, that my authentic self was emerging. In fact, it certainly felt as if I were being diminished to nothing. It was at least 10 years before teachers such as Matthew Fox and Andrew Harvey came into my life and told me the truth about the mystic's journey. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't go to that psychiatrist. Instead, my husband and I took the money that we might have spent on the couch, so to speak, and rented a cottage at the beach. This was a one-room cottage with no phone, no doorbell, no radio, no television, no dishwasher, no washing machine, no gardeners with blowing machines, no boombox. I could not tolerate noise. I unplugged the refrigerator during the day, so I wouldn't have to listen to the motor sound. Sometimes I even used earplugs because the ocean waves were too loud. Each morning I went there after I sent my daughter off to preschool. I slept all day, punctuated with occasional short walks on the beach. Late in the afternoon, I returned home, had dinner with my family, and went back to sleep. This schedule of sleeping 16 to 20 hours a day lasted the better part of 18 months. I've never known what to call that period of my life. Illness seems inappropriate and inaccurate. I've considered other possibilities like the time when I dreamed myself awake, or my great awakening, or the annihilation of my former ego. All those seem both insufficient and grandiose. I could call it my year of 2,000 dreams, Y2D. Whatever I label it, this period profoundly shattered my former beliefs and obliterated the way I lived my life. Rumi says, reason can never understand the love of love, can never dance in the incandescent madness of vision, can never become lucid through the drunkenness of ecstasy, yet reason can never completely give up the desire to understand. When I first began to come out of it, I was desperate to find someone who could tell me what all this had meant. I searched for teachers who would listen to my dreams and explain their purpose. In retrospect, I recall feeling panicked that ultimately there was no meaning and no greater purpose. What if I'd just been sick and delusional? There was not much help in the Western tradition for understanding that kind of dreaming experience. There are plenty of therapists and dream teachers who will analyze and interpret dreams, but that wasn't what I really needed. I wanted comprehension of the totality of the experience. I wanted to know why the dream teachers kept coming, who they were, what they wanted from me. I knew these dreams were not about my personal psychology. Most of them weren't even about me. But I still wanted to know what they meant. I ran from teacher to teacher, shaman to shaman, author to author, Anglo, Hispanic, Native American, African, Tibetan, Sufi. Little by little, I was able to piece some things together. Of course, I'd hoped to find my own female version of Carlos Castaneda's teacher Don Juan, who would just take me under her wing and tell me everything I needed to know. But she was not to come. Instead, an understanding of this time had to unfold for me through living my everyday life. 10 years after my involuntary crash course in the dream, I entered an Awaking Life doctorate program at the University of Creation Spirituality in Oakland, California. Ironically, it was in a physics class called The New Cosmology that I experienced a profound and unparalleled level of clarity and discovery about my dreaming days. Mathematical cosmologist Brian Swimme and physicist Stuart Cowan taught this course. Although neither of them ever mentioned dreaming in the class, and although to this day I've never had a private conversation with either of them, that class and their insights surrounding the genesis of the universe opened some of the doors to my understanding. Let me demonstrate with another story. The Dreamer's Creation Story. In The Universe Story, a book co-authored with Thomas Berry, Dr. Swimme described the void as the cosmic soup of all potential. This soup is the great blackness out of which the physical universe enters the realm of perception. Within that blackness, that formlessness, that no place, that no thingness, everything that ever happened, ever could have happened, ever will happen, or ever might happen, rests in complete repose. Out of that blackness, one moment in time about 15 billion years ago, a great silent blast of pure energy burst forth and expressed itself as light. Star Woman, Dreaming the Void. As Dr. Swimme articulated the magical and mystical void, the invisible source of perceptual reality, I found myself slipping back into the dreams of Star Woman. She had no form. She was that formlessness of which he spoke. She took me into the blackness, the no-thingness. Nothing happened in those dreams, and then I was awakened with, exactly as he described it, a great silent blast of pure energy bursting forth and expressing itself as light. I'd always awakened from those dreams highly energized. Star Woman, when she came, took me into the genesis of the cosmos. Those dreams reminded me that when we dissolve into sleep, we actually return to the nothingness that is before and beyond any concepts of time and space. A journal entry from that time states it clearly. It's a profound silence. It's a stillness that I've never experienced. I hear something like, think no thing of yourself. Simply experience the radiance of who you are. To embody this silence, you must be it. Don't think about being it. Give all that away. There is no system, no set of rules, no philosophy. Dream time is a return to the cosmic soup of all potential, the embodiment of silence, so that we can regenerate, heal, and bring forth in our magnificent ecstatic awakening a new expression of the light energy we call life. All the energy that would ever exist in the entire course of time erupted as a single quantum, a singular gift. Existence, says Dr. Swim. This quotation from the universe story is an outrageous and riveting statement. All the energy that has been used to run all the galaxies, to birth all the babies, to fire up all the stars, to lick all the ice cream cones of a lifetime, all the energy burst forth in the first few moments of that originating primordial silent flare. This idea is crucial to the dreamer's creation story. We must know first and foremost that we participate in a universe that is inextricably bound to its origin. Every time we brush our teeth, we're recycling energy that's been around for 15 billion years. How hilarious and arrogant that I would have thought that I didn't have the energy to stay alive. Am I not as linked to the original burst as any ant, any planet, any lizard, any star? The energy is there for the taking. One doesn't own energy. One borrows it to use and then gives it back. I could see, only then in that physics class 10 years later, that Star Woman's ecstatic way of awakening me from those dreams was a reminder that every being is sourced in the light and that the energy of life force is limitless because it is never used up.